King's legacy includes influences on the Black consciousness movement and civil rights movement in South Africa. King's work was cited by, and served as, an inspiration for South African leader Albert Luthuli, who fought for racial justice in his country during apartheid and was later awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. King influenced Irish politician and activist John Hume. Hume, the former leader of the Social Democratic and Labour Party, cited King's legacy as quintessential to the Northern Irish civil rights movement and the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, calling him one of my great heroes of the century. The Martin Luther King Fund and Foundation in the UK was set up as a charity on December 30, 1969, after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and following a visit to the UK in 1969 by his widow, Coretta King. The foundation's first chairman, Canon Ella John Collins, stated that the foundation was to be an active UK national campaign for racial equality, its work also to include community projects in areas of social need and education. International Personnel, IP, an employment agency, was formed in 1970 out of the foundation's base in Balham, in London's Inner Ring South, to find employment for professionally qualified Black people. In its first year, the agency placed 10% of its applicants in jobs equal to their ability. The Balham training scheme operated an evening school at the premises in South London and had a director, coordinator, and 5 lecturers in typing, shorthand, English, and maths. The 1975 Martin Luther King Memorial Lecture, entitled Black People and Employment, was given in the Mahatma Gandhi Hall of the Indian YMCA in London on May 6, 1975. By the RT Rev. David Shepherd, who was chairman of the fund until his appointment as Bishop of Liverpool in June 1975. In the late 1970s, Wilfred Wood, a Barbadian British Anglican, Bishop of Croydon from 1985 to 2003, the first Black bishop in the Church of England, and instrumental in the establishment of the foundation, became its chair. Wood was second in the 100 Great Black Britons list in 2004. The 1989 Martin Luther King Memorial Lecture, entitled To Overcome is to Undertake, was given by the RT Reverend Wilfred Wood, Bishop of Croydon. The text is still available. The foundation was removed from the Charity Commission list on November 18, 1996, as it had ceased to exist. In the United Kingdom today, the Northumbria and Newcastle University's Martin Luther King Peace Committee still exists to honor King's legacy, as represented by his final visit to the UK to receive an honorary degree from Newcastle University in 1967. The Peace Committee operates out of the chaplaincies of the city's 2 universities, Northumbria and Newcastle, both of which remain centers for the study of Martin Luther King and the U.S. Civil Rights Movement. Inspired by King's vision, it undertakes a range of activities across the UK as it seeks to build cultures of peace. In 2017, Newcastle University unveiled a bronze statue of King to celebrate the 50th anniversary of his honorary doctorate ceremony. The Students' Union also voted to rename their bar Luther's. King has become a national icon in the history of American liberalism and American progressivism. His main legacy was to secure progress on civil rights in the U.S. Just days after King's assassination, Congress passed the Civil Rights Act of 1968. Title 8 of the Act, commonly known as the Fair Housing Act, prohibited discrimination in housing and housing-related transactions on the basis of race, religion, or national origin, later expanded to include sex, familial status, and disability. This legislation was seen as a tribute to King's struggle in his final years to combat residential discrimination in the U.S. The day following King's assassination, schoolteacher Jane Elliott conducted her first Blue Eyes/Brown Eyes exercise with her class of elementary school students in Riceville, Iowa. Her purpose was to help them understand King's death as it related to racism, something they little understood as they lived in a predominantly white community. King's wife Coretta Scott King followed in her husband's footsteps and was active in matters of social justice and civil rights until her death in 2006. The same year that Martin Luther King was assassinated, she established the King Center in Atlanta, Georgia, dedicated to preserving his legacy and the work of championing nonviolent conflict resolution and tolerance worldwide. Their son, Dexter King, serves as the center's chairman. Daughter Yolanda King, who died in 2007, was a motivational speaker, author and founder of Higher Ground Productions, an organization specializing in diversity training. Even within the King family, members disagree about his religious and political views about gay, lesbian, bisexual and transgender people. King's widow Coretta publicly said that she believed her husband would have supported gay rights. However, his youngest child, Bernice King, has said publicly that he would have been opposed to gay marriage. On February 4, 1968, at the Ebenezer Baptist Church, in speaking about how he wished to be remembered after his death, King stated, "I'd like somebody to mention the day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like for somebody to say the day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to love somebody. I want you to say the day that I tried to be right on the war question. I want you to be able to say the day that I did try to feed the hungry. I want you to be able to say the day that I did try in my life to clothe those who were naked. I want you to say on that day that I did try in my life to visit those who were in prison. And I want you to say that I tried to love and serve humanity. Yes, if you want to say that I was a drum major. Say that I was a drum major for justice. Say that I was a drum major for peace. I was a drum major for righteousness. And all of the other shallow things will not matter. I won't have any money to leave behind. I won't have the fine and luxurious things of life to leave behind. But I just want to leave a committed life behind." Beginning in 1971, cities such as St. Louis, Missouri, and states established annual holidays to honor King. At the White House Rose Garden on November 2, 1983, President Ronald Reagan signed a bill creating a federal holiday to honor King. Observed for the first time on January 20, 1986, it is called Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Following President George H. W. Bush's 1992 proclamation, the holiday is observed on the third Monday of January each year, near the time of King's birthday. On January 17, 2000, for the first time, Martin Luther King Jr. Day was officially observed in all 50 U.S. states. Arizona, 1992, New Hampshire, 1999, and Utah, 2000, were the last three states to recognize the holiday. Utah previously celebrated the holiday at the same time but under the name Human Rights Day. King was canonized by Archbishop Timothy Paul of the Holy Christian Orthodox Church, not to be confused with the Eastern Orthodox Church, on September 9, 2016, at the Christian Cathedral in Springfield, Massachusetts. His feast day was set as April 4, the date of his assassination. King is also honored with a lesser feast on the liturgical calendar of the Episcopal Church on April 4 or January 15, the anniversary of his birth. The Evangelical Lutheran Church in America commemorates King liturgically on January 15.